How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. It helps out, means a ton. You guys get plenty of fun stuff. We're reviewing the Hunters Guild Red Hood today because I absolutely love this series, and I haven't gotten another Trojan X chapter to review yet, so this is basically going to take its place at the moment. When I get a Trojan X chapter, I will be reviewing that as well, of course. But yeah, this chapter was actually really good for the world building side of things. We got a lot of world building for being so early on in the series, and I actually extremely enjoyed that. That was extremely interesting, but I didn't make a chapter 5 review, and I didn't mention this in my video I made talking about why you should read this series. Did anybody else completely miss Cinderella's naming idea, the scheme, the joke? Maybe not joke, but all right. It's Cinderella, the Ashen Witch or something along those lines? Cinderella? That blew my mind when I randomly realized it at work. I'm like, oh my god, I get it. Cinders, like from a fire and stuff. Cinderella. Oh my god. Thank you, brain, for finally picking that up. I absolutely love Cinderella now, just because of her name. I found that so interesting, probably because of the fact that I didn't think about it for like a week. So, yeah. Thank God we got on track with that one. That was really cool. So, getting into the chapter, actually. So, starting off the chapter, we have a little bit of a flashback back to when Velo started cutting wood for the villagers. And I really want to put the most important panel of the entire chapter up on screen for you now, because it is on the first page at the very bottom. Yeah, the mayor of the town of the hamlet says, yes, from now on, you will be the one to ... What tells me this is incredibly important is the fact that yes has a white background, and the rest, the part that he didn't finish, he didn't tell us the entire bit of, had a black background. That shows extreme significance in those words. You don't just do that. A lot of times an author might make a couple words emboldened or italicized or something like that to show that this word or these words were important. This completely changed the entire background color of the speech bubble. You are meant to keep that in mind. That is important. So as I mentioned in the beginning, the world building was great in this chapter, and we learn very early on that we are making our way toward Borderport, the town that sits in front of, or just next to, or whatever it said, the Hunters Guild. Right as this is happening, we see this awesome looking giant in the background just wading through the water in the ocean or a huge lake or whatever that is. That was cool. On top of that, we also figure out that the Hunters Guild uses giant crabs that pull carriages and stuff around for transport. This one was called Amber. I love how they named it Amber. I don't know why. You just give it a cute little name like Amber. Anyway, yeah, they use these things for transport. Instead of horses, they use big crabs. Fair enough. All right. So we also get another little flashback of basically the end of chapter 5, the end of all the stuff that happened in the hamlet, kind of going over all the stuff that happened there again. I actually don't think that really needed to be in there. I think in that specific one, we really didn't learn anything. I think it was pretty much entirely recap, if I remember properly. But that's okay. Doesn't matter. Grimm also asks Velo about the axe. About what you said, it was the mayor that gave it to you, all this, and Velo's just like, yeah, it was just for wood cutting. That's all he used it for, and he let me have it because I was cutting the wood. And yeah, Grimm does not buy this at all. Granted, this is the truth that Velo knows. This is the truth to him. But Grimm's a little bit smarter. She's a little more experienced in the world, and she has a very strong feeling that that axe is made of wolfonium. I'm going to hate saying that word. Oh my god. She mentions the fact that she was very surprised Velo could cut open a werewolf's gut with one strike from that. And he's like, well, yeah, I mean, I've been chopping wood for a long time. I know how to use an axe. And Grimm's in her head like, that's not what I'm talking about, kid. It's a werewolf. And it's a regular axe. I don't care if you know how to handle it. Obviously, she doesn't say all this to him, but yeah. In her head, you know that's what's going through there. Like, God, this kid is not picking up on the clues. All right, whatever, fine. So yeah, Velo explains that, yeah, I cut the wood for everybody, so I know how to use an axe. The winters were really long, so everybody needed firewood, so I wanted to repay them by doing that. And we learn that there is a kingdom somewhere in this world, or at least Grimm has heard of a kingdom somewhere in this world that uses cutting wood as training for new knights. This could be, when you think about it, why was the mayor just like, yeah, you're definitely going to cut all the wood from now on. Go ahead. And you're going to be the one to ... protect us, protect someone, something, me, I don't know. Yeah, there's something weird going on with Velo in his past. But yeah, he's like, oh, so me helping the villagers because I cared about them and they took care of me, made me stronger with the axe, like the new knight training. So it was me and the villagers' connections that allowed me to beat the werewolf. And Grimm's like, sure, if that's how you want to look at it. But no, and honestly, once again, she keeps thinking to herself, that wasn't the power of friendship. So she starts going through everything. The fact that Velo was put through new knight training, the fact that the axe is probably made of wolfonium, the fact that both the huge werewolf dude and Cinderella came and attacked this random little tiny backwood hamlet for seemingly no reason. Flunky werewolves that were basically asking to be killed, as she said, were showing up. She says it, and it's true. There are too many coincidences here. Things like this don't just happen. Not with all of these little pegs poking out into other areas. This is not right and it is not normal. We finally get introduced to Tilty and Milty, the two drivers for Amber, I guess you could say. They're also cooking the food for both Velo and Grimm. And Tilty's kind of giving Velo a little bit of a rough time, but Milty's just over there like jabbing him in the side, like, quit it. And she looks at Velo, she's like, don't worry. The more he trusts somebody, the more he gets mean with him sometimes, or along those lines of words. I'm not quoting it. But yeah, so that was nice. And Tilty's like, yeah, I don't trust him yet. Here, take the food. Quit flinching. You make me look like the bad guy. Jesus. So yeah, I love their fun little interactions there. Milty ends up seeing something coming, and it's another giant crab. But this one is a type of crab that likes to spit its foamy spit into sand and mix that together because it makes a little like paste, and then it'll stick that to an object and then stick that object on itself, on its shell, for added protection. Well, this one happened to do that with a tank. Yeah, there's tanks in this world, so apparently we're pretty intelligent in this world. We've learned how to create tanks. From the beginning of the series, you would have thought that, we're just woodworking. No, that was just that little tiny backwoods hamlet. Out in the rest of the world, much more technologically advanced than the village was. So yeah, that's actually kind of interesting. And then they start to think that, well, don't really worry about it. Those things are usually pretty docile. And then the tank head on top of it just turns and looks straight at them and blows off the cart that was on top of Amber. So yeah, apparently we also have tiny little sentient, most crabs are sentient, tiny little sentient, intelligent crab with prehensile claws. How do I get prehensile and then pause on claws? Jesus God. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, prehensile meaning it can like grab and manipulate stuff. So prehensile, pull that little tank lever or push the little tank button, whatever you do to make a tank fire. I actually don't even know. And yeah, these little intelligent crabs can fire tanks. That's terrifying. Never let a tiny intelligent crab get into a tank. That is lesson 1. Don't forget it. So, yeah, the tank blows off their carriage, doesn't hit any of them, and then Tilty and Milty show off a little bit of their skills. Which, granted, this is after Velo actually saw the little crab inside the opening, inside the tank. So, yeah, Velo's eyesight is absolutely insane. Another weird thing about him. Why does Velo have insane eyesight? Anyway, doesn't matter. Milty fires a shot inside of the little gap, aiming for a ricochet shot to just bounce around in there. Because if you shot just one shot in there and it didn't hit the crab, especially if the crab wasn't in the opening, you wouldn't be able to hit the crab. It would just tink inside of there. Maybe bounce off once or twice, but whatever. Aiming for a ricochet on purpose makes it much more likely that you hit the crab, and if you don't, it will possibly make it want to get out of there, which it did, and as soon as it popped open the hatch, Tilty comes up with a sword and absolutely slices it to pieces. So yeah, now Velo and us are sitting there like, wow, this, cool, hunters are cool. Granted, we already figured out hunters are cool from Grimm, but as Velo brings this up, they mention that we're not hunters. we failed the exam. We couldn't make it. Like, no, you gotta be better than us if you want to be with Grimm. Like, sorry about it, but I don't know what to tell you, but we ain't hunters. We're just assistants. So that shows us that people of this caliber, of their skill level, are still not strong enough and capable enough to be hunters. So we know Velo has an extremely tough trial coming ahead of him. And I love the fact that we did this. This really sets the bar for entering the Hunters Guild extremely high for our expectations at this time in the series, being only chapter 6. This is when we finally get to see the Hunters Guild's mobile research facility, the Ironworks. Cool ass name, by the way, because it's just a giant iron cube. Well, metal cube. We don't know if it's technically iron. Yeah, and then we get a final panel of a buff woman and her boobs. Yep, that's what we got. So I don't know how else to describe that panel. And it says, okay, how many will survive? Okay, how many will survive this round? Talking about the next round of Hunters Guild examinees. How many of them are going to make it through? How many will survive? That also raises the bar. Do people die during the Hunters exam? I would imagine probably so. Yeah. This is probably an exam where some people might end up dying. If you have to be stronger than Tilty and Milty to make it in, that's pretty tough. Some people... Or we could just be talking about survive as in make it to the end and actually get into the Hunters Guild. Maybe nobody will actually die. I don't know. But either way, this chapter, like I said, was great for world building. We figured out there's giant crabs that they use for transport, giant crabs that stick stuff onto their shells because of a mixture they make with their foam spit and sand. There's tiny, really intelligent crabs with prehensile claws that can fire tanks. If you let one get inside of a tank, don't do that. Yeah, the Hunters Guild has a mobile fortress. There is a kingdom out there that uses wood cutting as training for new knights because it's a great full body workout. All kinds of world building we got in this chapter, and that was absolutely phenomenal. And this chapter did a phenomenal job of making me intrigued about Velo's past. Why things were set up this way. Because things were set up for this to happen. Grimm said that. She's like, no, he was trained in knight's training with wood cutting with a Wolfonium axe that is a metal specifically used to kill werewolves and maybe other fantastical creatures we don't know yet. And yeah, there's too many things going on. So there's a lot of intrigue, at least for me. I am super intrigued to figure out more about why all of this happened the way it happened. What led up to the first couple chapters of this series. What happened before this? Who are Velo's parents? Where are they? Are they Hunters Guild members from the past? Did they leave the axe with the mayor? All kinds of stuff. What's up with the mayor? There's got to be more to him. There's gonna have to be more to the mayor. That stuff he said earlier on, the fact that it was put in different color backgrounds, I cannot pass that up. So yeah, this chapter is absolutely phenomenal. I hope you guys are enjoying the series. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out.